CNG Media.
Welcome to Vino with Vito and Dave Taramina. Dave, today I think we're going to talk about a couple different things.
Okay.
One thing I want to let everybody know, I have actually...
I brought the wine.
You bought the... but you bought French cheap wine, but that's all right. You know what? Let me put the cork in here. And again, thank you for my daughter, Victoria, for bringing this to me.
Yes.
Actually going to have a winemaker coming from Italy.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can buy some of his wine and keep bringing it to the show.
Yes.
But we got a couple good things going on. One of the things is going to be the winemaker here coming from Italy.
Nice.
Hopefully I can have him on our show before we do, it's kind of like a wine tasting, and it's going to be held at a special place, and you know, we'll talk about that maybe in the next episode where we're going to hold that. But, you know, something different.
Like on location, you
on location.
Wow,
and,
look at you.
Yeah,
wow.
look at me. Yeah, look at me. I'm all dressed up, like I told you in the other episodes. You know, the older people, you know, when you get my age, you want to look good.
You're wearing the same shirt for 2 weeks in a row?
Nah, come on. We're just... Don't be saying that. Same collar, everything else. But I'm wearing my beautiful Robert Graham limited edition. But today, Dave, I'm going to ask you, you know...
We're going to be serious today?
We're going to be serious.
Wow.
Actually, we're going to actually be serious. And who do you find that has the most buying power right now?
Oh.
As, you know, they want to go buy a house. Again, you being in the mortgage business.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you a plug for Guaranteed Rate.
Yes.
Okay, now we all know Dave went to Guaranteed Rate here. Now, Guaranteed Rate, they guarantee you a rate, right?
They guarantee you any rate.
Any rate.
Any rate.
But, Dave, really, who do you think has the most buyer power? Because, again, you're in the mortgage business. You know that more than I would do being in the real estate business. Yeah. So let's bring it out to all our viewers here. And this way, maybe you can help me and help a lot of other real estate agents to kind of focus to you know, these people here, you know, to buy a home.
Definitely. So absolutely. So, you know, I've been March 1st. So it's February 23rd right now. March 1st will be 25 years they've been in the mortgage business, which is just unbelievable.
Happy silver anniversary.
Thank you. And
are you married 25 years too?
I'm not married. I'm married, oh my God, 17 years.
Oh, Mariela, I hope you were listening to that.
I have it written inside my ring, my anniversary.
You got to look. Look, Mariela, I don't know if everybody knows, but Mariela is my goddaughter. Oh, boy. You're in trouble now.
No. Listen, she doesn't remember either, so it's okay. But you know, the point is that, you know, this is a very important part of the mortgage business for me, right? Like we are, you know, America from the beginning of time has always been a diverse nation, right? We're a country of immigrants. Your first generation, well, actually, you were born in another country.
I was born in Italy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my brothers and I are first generation of our family to be born in America. So, you know, all our relatives are in Italy, right? So we're first generation. So, you know, it's, you know, home ownership and immigration and immigrants, you know, they go hand in hand since the founding of our country, right? So this is a very important topic for me, right? In fact,
I'm glad I brought it up then.
I'll tell you.
And I just want everybody to know this show's unedited. We just come here, we talk, we don't know what we're going to talk about, whatever comes to our mind.
You may hear a cell phone ring.
Yeah. It
just
rang
like the last
episode. But.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that's, you know, important to me and dear to me, right? So, and it's timely. We'll talk about a seminar that I was at last night. But so there's different segments, right, of home buyers right now, right? So let's talk about home buying segment, and then let's talk about overall finance, right? So, and how that ties directly to your audience, which is, you know, realtors and mortgage reps, right? So let's start with this. I was at a seminar last night that was hosted by the New Jersey Financial Planning Association at Montclair Brewery in Montclair. Let's give them a shout out.
Okay.
Great place.
I don't drink beer, but we'll give them a shout out.
I don't drink beer either, but I got to tell you, I had a beer there. I had a raspberry shanty.
Raspberry shanty.
It was good.
I didn't even want to go there, but
I actually bought some to go, so it was very good. But it was hosted by Franklin Templeton, right? And It was geared towards financial planners, but mortgages and real estate, that's a huge part of, probably the biggest part of everyone's financial plan, right? So it kind of was a seamless to our business. And he went over different segments, and we'll zero in on like two that he went over, right? So one of them was the Hispanic. The Hispanic segment, right? And I can speak to this. I'm involved in NAREP, North Jersey. NAREP's is a National Association of Realtor Professionals. You don't have to be a realtor to be in it. In fact, you don't have to be Spanish, or Hispanic.
I don't think you're Hispanic.
I'm not Hispanic. I'm Sicilian. Sicilian.
There
So,
you go.
And I'm very involved in our board. I'm on an advisory committee that helps with like education and whatnot. So I do a lot of research, and this Guaranteed Rate is a national sponsor of NAREP as well. So it is projected that in 10 years, and again, all these numbers are different and different sources, whatever, but Hispanic community will be probably close to 35 to 40% of home buyers in the next 10 years.
That's amazing.
That's a big segment.
That's
right?
huge.
Now the
35 to 40% is huge.
Huge, and and it's funny because like the presentation that I attended last night was more from a financial planning standpoint, but it spoke about like every culture is different, right? Especially how they approach money and whatnot. But where like the Hispanic community, the most important thing from a survey that Franklin Templeton did was education was top, paying for education. But also home ownership, right? They kind of went like hand in hand, right? Like home ownership and education equated to financial freedom, right? So it's important. Like really think about that, right? So education and home ownership, right? As an immigrant, right, a son of an immigrant, and my family, when I remember stories growing up, and I'm sure you've probably heard this a million times, right? What Italian doesn't tell you. Buy real estate, right?
That's it.
So
remember Nick last episode? He bought real estate.
Real estate. So it was actually very interesting, right? So like, but the seminar was like, kind of talking about, when you're going to represent the Hispanic community or help the Hispanic community, you kind of have to look at things through their lens, right? Like, and
This is getting deep, but go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what's important to certain, it's like generational things too. What's important to one generation is not important maybe to another. So, I think like for real estate professionals out there, it's important to remember that in the Hispanic community, just like the Italians, you could have multi-generational living in one house, right?
Oh, absolutely. We did it when we came from Italy.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, so when you're out there as a realtor, like approaching, like a Hispanic buyer or even a seller, right? Just understand that it's not just the one person you're talking to. It's a family decision, right? It's a communal decision, right? So I thought that was really interesting. So if there's one bit of advice that you can get out of this is that.
So it's not just the one person talking. You got to really go with basically the whole family.
Correct.
And, they have to make that decision, together
right.
to move forward.
Right.
So it's not like me going there and saying, hey, Dave, we're going to do this. Yes. But wait, I got to talk to 5, 6, 7, 8 other people, before we can make that decision.
Or present it as like a group, right? Like, and remember, this was a financial planner presentation, so, which is a little bit different, right? Like, we're lending money, you're selling a house.
Right.
Financial planners are actually taking investments every month, you know what I mean? So I know the sales approach is different, but the concept's the same, right? So, if you're going to sell somebody a house, you may look at it and say, why would you want to have that house? Or like, as a lender, right? Like, we may say, like, why are you, more inclined to keep cash in a safe at home or whatever the case is, right? So, there's cultural reasons for it.
Like the Italians, the big saying is under the mattress.
Under the mattress.
There you go.
Exactly. So,
by the way, I do not keep any money under the mattress. Just want everybody to know
you keep it in the tile.
No tile. It's in the bank.
But so I think, listen, it's, lending, diversity in lending and whatnot is, it's a, I don't think you have to be Hispanic. You don't have to be Asian, right? Like, or any, like I guess
Italian,
segment.
any nationality.
I just think for me personally, and I know for you, I can speak for you on this, the upbringing we had and, like seeing our like family come to another country, we understand that, the challenges, right? But you also understand the opportunities. So that's what I'm really passionate about with housing is that like, we touch their life. Like, when you sell the home or when we give an affordable mortgage, right? We're changing people's lives.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because, people look at, you as a mortgage broker or, mortgage rep, me as a realtor, hey, you just sold another house. It's not I just sold another house. Mm-hmm. I helped somebody get home ownership. And I know it sounds corny or whatever.
Right. It sounds like a script.
It sounds like a script. Right. It's not.
You don't do this as long as you have, if that's a script.
Right. I enjoy showing people houses. I enjoy getting to the closing table. I enjoy negotiating.
Right.
I enjoy helping everybody out to get that home ownership.
Yep.
Again, remember, I came here to America. I was 4 years old.
Yep.
With a little Cupolini.
Robert Graham onesie.
Robert Graham onesie. I don't know if Robert Graham was around in 67, but again, I came with the Cupolini. Yep. I came with my family. My dad, sold, as you would say, the donkey, but it was actually a mule or whatever.
I like the donkey better.
You like the donkey better. But we came here with really nothing. And you know what? We lived the American dream.
Yeah.
And that's where I try to help everybody. And again, it's not corny. I'm helping you go into home ownership.
Yeah.
If it's a multifamily, if it's a single family, whatever it is. I mean, it gives me so much joy.
Yeah.
Watching or giving somebody the keys to a house and saying, here, welcome to your new home. And then especially like in my town, in Fairfield, I see a lot of people in town.
More Italians than Naples?
But I see a lot
in Fairfield.
In Fairfield, but I see a lot of people. I live on the park, whatever, walking in the park, walking.
Wait, you live in a park?
On the park. My backyard is actually the park. But now that everybody knows where I live, but you see people around town where hey Vito, how are you? Hey, I love the house. Or you see the little kids, and the little kids go, Mommy, Daddy, look. That's Vito that gave us our house. I didn't give you your house, but naturally, you got the house, and I sold you the house. And again, it brings me so much joy.
And it's funny because I I think about when I grew up, right? Like my grandparents. So my mom was born and my father was born in Italy. They came here about the same age as you, right? And my grandparents, moved to Lodi. And then they bought a place in Clifton, right? But I lived in a 2-family that my grandfather owned, right? 2-bedroom house, 3 brothers, and my mom, right? So and we had tenants upstairs, and so that was generational living. My grandparents lived around the block, and I would walk there, and it was when I look at my own situation, even my mother, she didn't really own her own home until about 20 years ago, you know what I mean? And there was not, there was not education, there was not awareness for, for immigrants to realize the dream of home ownership. Thankfully, things are different now, right? There's much more awareness, much more education, and there's a bigger emphasis on home ownership right now for not just Hispanic community, for Asian community, whatever. So thank God, right? So and then the second thing, which was, am I allowed to still go on? Or,
oh, absolutely, all right. Keep going.
So I saw you giving the wrap up finger.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But the second thing was interesting, right? Now remember,
I didn't finish my wine.
So we're good until you finish the wine. Okay.
Good.
So the second,
I'll make sure I go slow with it. Go ahead.
Perfect. The second thing that I found was really interesting was. Now remember, this was a financial planning first.
Right. It's not. So, right, it's not you saying, "Hey."
Right. This was studies again cited by Franklin Templeton, and the host was amazing. By the way, the guy who gave the presentation. And if we get comments, and if you want to find out who he was in the chat, I'll send you his info. I don't know if you would like me to put it right now in the show, but
no, if somebody wants to know, they can.
I mean, the guy was spot on. And and it was actually, his story was interesting because he was African American and his wife was Korean. So and he's a financial planner. So he was literally he had broad spectrum of like different groups and like financial planning, whatever. But something that struck me that was really amazing, and this applies to realtors and mortgage people listening as well, but the segment of the population that has right now the most buying power. Now, I'm not talking about appeal, right? Like everyone wants to market to, like Madison Avenue wants to market to people in their 20s, right? Like everyone knows that.
Right.
But
should we tell everybody? Then everybody's going to market to these people. But
we
what?
should. I think we should. We're givers. We're givers. We are.
That's what this podcast is about.
Yes.
To give information to everybody, not just homeowners, not just renters.
Everybody.
We give it to realtors, to mortgage people, to everybody.
This is about wealth and preservation
correct.
and all that.
Right,
so
right.
now remember, this is Franklin Templeton, a reputable company's research. Okay, they said that women between the age of 50 to 65. So again, women between the age of 50 to 65 right now are the strongest segment of the population when it comes to finance, wealth, and wealth distribution. So the whole point of it was that, because you think about it, right? A woman between 50 and 65, they have parents that are probably in their 80s, right?
I'm going to hold you. I got to go. I know quite a few of those women.
You're married to one. They're going to be the biggest recipients of wealth transfer right now, right? So if you think about
50 to 65.
Their parents are probably in their 80s, but they also have either adult children or kids in their 20s, like that are just getting into adulthood, right? So this segment of the population has a lot of responsibility, right? So they're taking care of their elderly parents, right? They're also trying to get their adult children on their feet and going. They're probably still paying for college, right? Mm-hmm. I'm relating to you here a little bit, except not a female, male.
I'm not a female. Yeah. Everybody, I'm a male.
Yeah. So you think about it, right? Like it's a sandwich generation, right? He didn't use that term, but that's what I call it. It's like the sandwich generation, right? So they're getting wealth transferred. They have their own wealth, but they're also getting wealth transferred, right? Now, I don't know why specifically it was women. I'm assuming that maybe women are usually the decision makers in this survey. I don't know, but
and again, you're married. I'm married. Who's the decision maker?
So the mic's not working. So like that's the segment of the population. Now let's tie it down to real estate. Mm-hmm. Okay. So multi-generational, right? We have specific programs that are for multi-generational living. Okay. Different mortgages, like where you could, not to get into the specifics, we'd be here all day, but, if it's multi-generational, you're buying a home for maybe your parents that are living with you or your kids that are living with you or whatever, even college housing, whatever. We have those specific programs, but for realtors, you need to look at it differently too, right? Like, there's more of the mother-daughters, right? And, maybe...
And father-son,
whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, so you have to take a fresh approach to your business as a real estate agent and say, okay, I'm showing this person a house, right? And they're telling me, well, maybe in a couple of years my mother's going to live with me, right? It goes quick. Like, so these are the decisions you have to make today as a home buyer and as a real estate professional. You need to show them the best options, right? So it was awesome. Like, and I think, but it really just kind of blew my mind, like the different segments of population and how it tied right to home buying.
And like you said, us as realtors and, real estate professionals, you got to, try to help everybody out. Multi-generational homes, mother-daughters, father-sons, whatever, I look back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when I decided to move from a colonial into a ranch.
Right.
I was 50 years old at the time.
Yeah.
49, 50 years old.
Almost my age.
Almost your
I remember.
age. But everybody was looking at me and saying, what are you, out of your mind? Why are you going to a ranch from a colonial? Mm-hmm. Everybody wants a colonial. I said, yeah, everybody wants a colonial, but you know what? I'd rather have a ranch. One day I'm going to get older, and you know what?
Yeah.
I like one floor living.
Right.
So I buy a ranch. Today, everybody asks me, wow, you want to sell your ranch?
Right.
I'm like, why would I want to sell my ranch?
Yeah.
I'm 60 years old. This is the best decision I ever made. And you know what? One floor living, and that's it.
But you see, you take it from like looking at that group's lens, right?
Right.
So I know, your story too. You had relatives live with you in the ranch and the whole thing. So but if like you had a real estate, and I know your situation's different, but let's just say you had a real estate agent who was just like pushing their own agenda, like get this house. This is the best house.
Pushing their own listing like everybody does.
You have to, and and sometimes you may look at something and say, I would never buy the house. But it may not be for you. Like you may have elderly parents and a kid who needs to live like, downstairs and upstairs and whatever the case is. So you have to kind of look at it from their lens. So if there's anything you take away from this episode as a real estate professional and even as a mortgage professional, right? Like even on our end, we have to ask the right questions and figure that out and say, okay, wait a minute. So if this is your plan, okay, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, I've got this program, right? And now for the mortgage people out there listening, say, okay, I have this special multi-generational family program. Now I need to take it to the realtor, okay? And say, hey, this is a program we have. Seems like this is what your customer wanted that you sent me. Now let's work together and find that home.
Right. And I like the way you're saying it. Look at it through their lens. Because now, you're showing them houses and you're scratching your head. And, we always joke around, this is the 5th house I've shown you, 7th house I've shown you, whatever. But now we got to look at it and say, here, okay, now I know what you're looking for.
Right.
Now this is what I'm going to try to show you.
Right.
Now we get into the house. Hey, it might not be something that, I would like or whatever, but like you said, it's perfect for them.
Yeah, and I think like on future, it's right. And I think on future episodes, like I mean this seminar, it was only like 25 minutes, but it really like opened my eyes to some stuff I knew, but other stuff. But I think that I didn't know, and I think we could maybe have future episodes because he covered the 2 I just described, and then African Americans, Asian Americans, LGBTQ community, and also millennials. Those are like the segments that are the largest. So like, you can spend hours doing it. So maybe we could do a different show.
Another show on a different, we'll talk about different people. Yeah. But like you said before, you're showing these people houses and, you're thinking it's not for them. I remember showing your brother-in-law houses.
Okay.
And it was back when the gas prices were shot up.
Yeah.
And I must have showed him 30, 40, 50 houses. It almost got to the point where I said, hey, you're going to start paying for the gas here. You got to find a house that you like.
He was also family. You get away with that. Yeah.
You can get away with that.
Right.
But it was a big joke like we were saying. But you know what? He found the right house.
Right.
But, again, the market was different or whatever.
Yeah.
But this episode was pretty deep, Dave.
Listen, I'm not just pretty face, Vito. I have substance to me.
I gotta admit one thing though.
Okay.
I have a makeup artist, okay, that wants to come on the show, and she keeps telling me that your head is so shiny that she's got to come and do the makeup so it doesn't,
Are you serious though or not?
Yes, I do.
Because I'm going to tell you, for everyone that's bald out there, and I don't know if we could get this on camera, but bald people pay for this shine. This is a natural shine. It's true.
Well,
listen, and I also want you to do your closing now in Spanish.
Oh, I would. What?
Do it in Italian.
Speaking about Spanish, when I growing up, I worked in a pizzeria. That's where I learned Spanish. A pizzeria in Patterson.
You're gonna do your closing of the show in Spanish?
I can only do it in English.
Can we get it in Italian?
Nah, you know what? My Italian, I got the dialect. Everybody's gonna be
Mondez.
Like, Mondez dialect. Everybody's gonna be like, "What the heck is going on?"
Well, Vito, thanks for letting me talk about this. It's something I'm really really passionate about, and and I think homeownership, responsible homeownership, should be available to everyone who can grasp it. There's something to be said about putting your digging in and planting your garden and having your own home, and there's something to to say to that. So thank you,
Dave. I agree with you 100%. Homeownership is unbelievable. And you start homeownership when you're young and. You're raising a family. You have that garden. Yeah. You have the swing set. I mean, it's amazing. Yep. And you're there to help. I'm there to help.
Yeah, definitely.
And everybody looks at me sometimes, and when we talk, hey, you're corny or whatever. I'm not corny.
Right.
I'm here to help
Right.
get into that home ownership. And I hope everybody's listening. You know what? It's not just me as a realtor. It's not just you
Yep.
as a mortgage guy. You know what? Everybody might have their own mortgage guy. Everybody might have their own realtor. But, we're here to try to help everybody.
Can I say, like, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
go
off, but
right
like,
ahead.
so one of the things I love about NARAP, and I want to shout out to Eric Estevez, who's the who's the president of the
maybe we can get somebody from
I would love to get him
on. Absolutely.
Listen,
Again,
in
I'd
the
be more
group-
than happy to have them here.
In the group, there are a bunch of mortgage reps and there's a bunch of realtors, right? And it's not about, like you said, like everyone has their own mortgage person or their own, whatever. Like it's not even about that. Like it's such a mission driven group, like, and it's awesome. Like you could get 5 or 6, realtors or mortgage reps in the room, and they're all on cue, like for the mission, right? Like even next month, March 11th, I think it is. There's a national convention in Washington D.C., and I'm lucky enough to go down with Dean Moran, who's a friend of the show.
You never told me. Could I come too?
You could come too.
Oh.
You could drive.
I'll drive.
But we're going down there, and it's it's about a homeowner. It's like home ownership and wealth.
I'm going to hold you to that now.
Oh, you could come with me, absolutely.
Yes.
Do you want to go?
Absolutely.
And Guaranteed Rate's throwing a nice party on the Tuesday of that week too. So major sponsor, but my point is that like you get,
and hopefully Guaranteed Rate can sponsor this show one day too.
well, one thing at a time.
Dean, I hope you're listening.
We have to see how the viewership is here.
Go,
There's gonna be more eyeballs in Washington, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, but you know what? Like the point is that like this isn't something that's like, oh, I'm trying to get business or whatever. This is a mission to improve people's lives, right? And not just Hispanic, it can be anybody, right? Like, and I really believe that home ownership does it. And I know you do too. So that's kind of, I hope if there's nothing else that we got out of this, it's that.
And you always laugh, and you always look at me and say, yes, I got the scar.
The scars,
I had the open heart surgery.
Yeah.
You know what? I try to help everybody, and again, whoever I can and whatever I can do to help everybody out there. Yeah, it sounds deep. This episode, I think, was a little bit deep.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But it's real.
It's real. That's what we do. We're here to help you.
Right.
We're not here to just, sell you something, sell you a mortgage, sell you a house.
Oh, yeah, anything. Like,
Hi, hey, here's the keys. Good luck.
Right.
Meanwhile, you go in the house, the roof is leaking, this is done, and you don't know what the hell's going on, where am I going to turn? I have people calling me today, Dave, okay? I sold them their house probably 15 years ago, okay? Still talks to me today. If there's something that happens, it was brand new construction.
Yep.
Remember with all the rain and we had, and everything. Had a leak in his house, through the roof or through a vent or whatever. What should I do? And I guided him, call your insurance company.
Right.
Once your insurance company calls, call this guy here. He'll come and give you an estimate. He'll do it. But that's the friendships we've made through the years.
Right.
Because you know what? If I didn't do right by him, he'd never call me back.
That's right.
And I've done other deals with him on a retail level, but that's what it's all about.
Right.
It's, helping everybody, building the friendships, and, going through life thinking, hey, I did something different where I helped these people.
Made a difference.
I made that difference.
And that's why our job is awesome.
That's it. And that's why
in a nutshell.
That's it. And that's why every morning when I wake up and I go to work, you know what? Who am I here to help today?
Exactly. I love it.
I love it. Well, my wine's finished, Dave. On that note, I'm not going to say it in Italian. I'm not going to say it in Spanish. I'm going to say it in German. Just kidding.
Nice.
One day, and that day will come, when you need to buy or sell a house. And when that day does come, you will call the godfather of Northern New Jersey real estate, Vito Cantuzzi.